most Australians will retire with less than $400,000 in super. But what if I told you there's a way to potentially 5 times that amount using property? I'm Rusty Wabher, architect turned into a fund manager, and through my own SMSF, I've seen firsthand how property can transform retirement outcomes. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how a couple with just $230,000 in combined super could potentially end up with over $2.4 million by retirement. I'll show you a step-by-step comparison using real case study numbers, address the biggest concern and risks, and explain exactly what you would need to make this work. But first, let me show you why your current super strategy might be leaving millions on the table. Here is a sobering reality. The average Australian reaches retirement with about $435,000 in super if you're a male, or $314,000 if you're female. At a 4% withdrawal rate, which is considered safe in retirement, that's only $17,400 per year for men and $12,560 for women. That's barely enough to cover basic living expenses, let alone the retirement lifestyle you have been working toward for 40 years. But your super has the potential to be the most powerful wealth building tool you have. The problem isn't the vehicle, it's how it's being driven. Most retail super funds invest your money in a balanced portfolio. So they invest in a mix of shares, bonds, and other assets chosen by the fund managers you'll never meet. They are generally playing it safe and aiming for average returns of around 7.2% per year. But what if instead of letting fund managers make conservative choices with your money, you could direct it into an asset class that has consistently outperformed over the long term? What if you could use the same tax advantages, the same contribution limits, but potentially double or even triple your retirement outcome? That's exactly what self-managed super funds allow you to do. A self-managed super fund, or SMSF in short, is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of handling the steering wheel to a big retail fund, you and up to 5 other members run your own superannuation fund. You become the trustee, which means you are responsible for choosing where the money is invested, how it's managed, and making sure it complies with tax and superannuation laws. Unlike traditional super funds that pool your money with thousands of other members, an SMSF gives you direct control. You can decide whether to put your retirement savings into property, shares, term deposits, or even more specialized investments, provided they meet the 8-year rules. This flexibility is why many Australians see SMSFs as a way to align their retirement money with their personal strategy, values, and appetite for risk. Of course, with more control comes more responsibility. Running an SMSF means you are also in charge of administration, record keeping, and making sure the fund stays compliant. That's why most people work with accountants, financial advisors, or administrators who can take care of the paperwork so they can focus on the part that matters most. That is, choosing investments that could deliver a stronger retirement outcome. But if I told you that the same couple who might retire with just $1.3 million in a retail fund could potentially have $2.4 million or more using property in their SMSF? And what if I could show you exactly how that works? Before we dive in, though, I just want to make it clear that what I'm sharing today is purely educational. It's not personal financial advice. Everyone's circumstances are different. So make sure you speak to your accountant or licensed financial advisor before making any decisions about your super or investment. Let me introduce you to Mary and John. Mary has $80,000 in super and John has $150,000. Combined, they have $230,000. John is currently working, earning $100,000 per year, with income increasing by 2% annually. His employer contributes 12% to super each year. Now, they can either leave their money in retail super funds, earning around 7.2% per year, or they can establish an SMSF and use that money to invest in property. Here's how Mary and John could structure this. They combine their $230,000 in super. They use $165,000 as a deposit and cost for a $640,000 investment property, and the remaining $65,000 stays in shares and cash within their SMSF for diversification and liquidity. They then secure a $480,000 SMSF loan for the balance. They can do this because SMSFs are allowed to borrow through what's called a limited recourse borrowing arrangement. This lets the fund take out a limited recourse loan assessed mainly on the fund's own income and buffer. Lenders often require personal guarantees from members, but the loan is secured against the SMSF property, not the family home. In other words, even if they already have a home loan or other debts in their own names, it doesn't affect what their SMSF can borrow. The loan is secured only against the property inside the SMSF, not the family home or personal income. Now, back to the property. Once they buy it, it rents for $570 per week, which covers most of the loan repayments. Their ongoing super contributions help cover any shortfall and continue building their wealth. So let's look at how that stacks up if they continued using their retail super fund. If they leave their money in a balanced retail fund earning 7.2% per year, after 20 years, they'll have approximately $1.33 million. That's not bad. They have roughly tripled their money, taking into account their ongoing contributions. But watch what happens when they buy property through their SMSF. Assuming the property grows at just 6% per year, which is conservative for well-located Australian property, their total SMSF value reaches $2.48 million. That's $1.15 million more than the retail fund option. If the property grows at 7% annually, still a reasonable rate for good locations, their SMSF reaches $3.07 million. They are now $1.73 million better off than staying in retail super. And if they choose their property well and achieve 8% annual growth, their SMSF could reach $3.75 million. That's $2.42 million more than the retail fund. As you can see, it's all about financial leverage, as not only your money is working for you, but also the borrowed money is working for you. It's also about leveraging knowledge. As you can see, the real potential comes from buying the right property, which leads to better growth rate. This is where my background as a data analyst and property investor becomes crucial. Not all properties are created equal. A property in the wrong location might only grow at 4% per year, which would actually underperform the retail fund when you factor in borrowing costs. But a property in the right location with infrastructure development, population growth, and supply constraints can consistently deliver 7 to 8% annual growth, if not more, over the long term. Couple a great property with the tax benefits of an SMSF and you are well on your way to building a retirement balance that could be 2 or even 3 times larger than if you have left your money in the retail fund. In your SMSF, rental income is taxed at just 15% during the accumulation phase. When you reach the pension phase, it drops to 0%. Compare that to owning investment property in your personal name, where you might pay 37% or 45% tax on your rental income. Now, I know what you are thinking. This sounds too good to be true, or too complicated, or too risky. So let me address the biggest concerns. Can I renovate the property? No, you can't. SMSF properties must remain as single acquirable assets. You can do repairs and maintenance, but not improvements while you have a loan. This actually keeps you focused on buying quality properties that don't need work. What if the roof leaks or there's a major repair? This is why we always recommend maintaining a cash buffer in your SMSF. You should have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses in reserve. Insurance covers major structural issues and routine maintenance is just part of the property ownership. What if property prices fall? This is a long-term strategy. Property cycles typically run 7 to 10 years and you are investing for 20 plus years. Short-term fluctuations are irrelevant when you are buying quality assets in growth locations. Is this legal and compliant? Absolutely. SMSFs have been able to borrow to buy property since 2007. The rules are well established and when structured correctly through qualified professionals, it's completely compliant. So if I've addressed your main concerns and maybe even sparked a bit of curiosity about what this could mean for your retirement, the next question is, how do you actually make it work? Here is what you need to get started. First, the right team. An SMSF accountant to set up the trust structure and handle compliance. A mortgage broker who specializes in SMSF lending, as not all brokers understand these loans. A buyer's agent who can identify properties that meet SMSF requirements and have strong growth potential. Second, the right mindset. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a long-term wealth building strategy that requires patience and discipline. You are essentially becoming the fund manager of your own retirement. Third, the right property. Not every property is suitable for SMSF investment. You need properties that will attract quality tenants, have strong rental yields, and are located in areas with genuine long-term growth drivers. The setup process typically takes 6 to 8 weeks. The ongoing compliance isn't complicated, but it does require attention to detail and working with qualified professionals. Most importantly, you need to understand that once you go down this path, you're taking control of your financial future. That's empowering, but it also means you can't blame fund managers if things don't go according to your plan. Look, I'm not here to tell you that SMSFs are right for everyone, because they are not. If you want to set and forget your super, stick with retail funds. But if you're someone who wants more control over retirement outcome, if you're frustrated watching your super balance barely keep up, if you understand that building wealth requires taking calculated risks with professional guidance, then this strategy could transform your retirement. You do not need to be an expert. You need a repeatable system, the right team, and the discipline to follow the plan. You just need to care more about your retirement than anyone else does. Because at the end of the day, nobody cares about your financial future as much as you do. All you need is the right team to support you. The couple in our case study, Mary and John, they're not fictional characters. They represent hundreds of thousands of Australians who have made this transition from retail super to SMSF property investment. If you are serious about exploring this strategy, the first step is education. Understand how SMSFs work, understand the property markets, and understand the risks and rewards. You can book a time with my team so we can help you understand whether this approach is suitable for your situation or not. We'll walk you through what's possible based on your current super balance, income, and goals, and outline what setting up an SMSF property strategy would look like for you. You can book directly through the link I've left in the description box. And if you'd like to learn more before taking that step, you can also access our comprehensive online masterclass, which covers the entire SMSF property investment process, including case studies, compliance requirements, and location selection criteria. The link for that is also in the description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.